Welcome back. Let's talk. This week, let's see about cycles and patterns of interactions from the context of informal and personal relationships. Let's try to understand this through a couple of examples. A couple had come for therapy and they've been married for almost 17 years. When they came for consultation, their 14-year-old daughter was diagnosed with mild depression by the school counselor. And this was also a reason why they came to see me. In this relationship, if you see, the husband has always been a very demanding person. All his requests would be, very commanding and authoritative. He had that sense of entitlement. In the initial days of their marriage, the wife had tried to adjust to this, but in the course of time, she became tired. She became tired of being at his beck and call and running all his errands. And slowly, she started distancing herself from the relationship. She became gradually dismissive of him. She withdrew herself more and more from him and the relationship. But what was happening was she would confide in her daughter. She would complain to her all the time about her unhappiness, kind of using her like an outlet. This began to affect the daughter greatly. She resented her mother, complaining to her all the time, but the child didn't know how to respond to that. The child felt strongly that her family was not happy, like most of her friends' families, that they never go out together as a family on a holiday or something, and there's no normal conversation at home and such things. During therapy, we try to understand the cycle, the husband's demandingness and the wife's withdrawal. The more she withdrew, the more demanding her husband became. He began to openly display his authority. And the more authoritative he became, the more she withdrew. So much so that at one point of time, maybe 2 to 3 years down their married life, there was no interaction between the two. There was only very functional communication. What's for breakfast, lunch, dinner? Did you do this? Did you do that? Very functional. So if we were to only ask, why did the wife become more and more silent? We would say it's because of the husband. We would blame him squarely. But the reason for his demandingness to grow more and more was also influenced by her withdrawal, isn't it? There was a mutual influence between the two of them. And if you had noticed, there was one more cycle that had formed here, which concerns the mother and the daughter. The mother used to lament to her daughter and confide in her most of her disappointments. And sometimes she also used to show to her daughter, some of the irritation and anger she felt towards her husband. And this affected the daughter a lot. But the more the child listened to her mother, the more she started sharing with her. And this is the other cycle, the family. There's another aspect to the whole thing. You see, at some point of time, both the husband and the wife would have understood the cycle, right? That is, the husband would have realized the more he demands, actually his wife is becoming more silent and withdrawn. And she would have also realized that the more silent and withdrawn she becomes, the more he starts commanding and demanding. But even if they understood this, there was very big hesitation on their part to break the cycle. You may even say that they were fearful of breaking the cycle, changing the pattern of interaction. Why is that? That's because deep down they felt that this is the very basis of their marital relationship, the demandingness and the withdrawal. So although deep in their heart, they did realize that there's no great bonding between the two in all these 17 years of married life, but they didn't want to change this equation. They were scared to change anything out of fear that even this little bit of this connection and rapport that they have may be lost forever. So even after understanding the pattern of interaction between them, they didn't take any steps to break or change it. So even when they came for therapy, it was not with an intention of we want to change, bring about any change in their relationship, because they had accepted the nature of it. But they were concerned about their daughter. and they wanted me to counsel her. So the focus of therapy was not to change the cycle between the couple, but to change the one between the mother and the daughter, which was the more she was sharing her disappointments with her daughter, the more depressed she was becoming, and the more passively the child was listening to her mother, the more she was using her like a confidant. Now, let's see another example. This client, let's call her Chitra. She's about 20 years old, 28 years old. She had gone against her parents' wishes and married someone out of her choice. But very unfortunately for her, it turned out to be an abusive relationship. And within 3 years, she had to come back to her parents' house with her 2-year-old daughter. When she came for therapy, she had severe depression and even suicidal ideation. So, what was the nature of interaction in their home? The parents' attitude and the kind of undercurrent in all their messages to her, directly or indirectly, was, "We told you so. Look what has happened. You went against our wishes and have messed up your life. At least from now on, you listen to us." This was their attitude. And moreover, they were constantly nitpicking on her. You have a daughter, you have to be more responsible, you have to take care, you have to be like this, you have to be like that, constantly nagging her. So the more they nagged Chitra, the more Chitra rebelled. The more contradictory her actions became to whatever they said. The more they started controlling her lifestyle, the more rebellious she became. And the more rebellious she became, the more controlling and nagging her parents became. She would not, for example, she wouldn't tell them where she was going. She would spend a lot of time with friends outside. And even when she was at home, she would kind of lock herself, isolate herself with office work and some other things. And this cycle continued. Here again, at some point, both Chitra and her parents would have realized what was happening between them. The parents knew that the more they were telling her, pushing her, the more adamant she was becoming. And Chitra also realized that the more contradictory she was acting against their wishes, the more agitated and nagging they were becoming. But both of them were fearful of breaking this cycle for their own reasons. For the parents, now they felt compelled to think that now our role is to set right the daughter, set right her life in the way that I think is right. And that is my responsibility now. And they were scared to give her the space and time to figure out her life once more. They were scared to trust her once more because her judgment and decision earlier had gone very, very wrong, unfortunately. Similarly, although Chitra was able to understand that her parents were advising her for her good, they were doing it out of their concern for her, but what was happening here is that because the decision she took against their wishes earlier had gone wrong, she feared that if now she were to passively listen to everything that they say and follow whatever they tell her to, then she was scared that she will completely lose whatever little self-confidence she had in her. And therefore, her rebellion was in a desperate bid to hold on to that self-confidence. But both the sides, they need to understand that unless the cycle is broken, no desirable changes can be brought about in Chitra's life. Thus, although it seems a little bit risky, Chitra's parents need to give her the freedom and time to kind of set right her own life. Same way Chitra needs to, understand, become mature enough to understand that she has to take what is good in what her parents tell her and not reject it outright just because it is coming from her parents. When Chitra came for therapy, she was very naturally of the view that unless her parents stopped nagging her, she would not be able to think responsibly about her life. They should stop first. But during therapy, she understood that unless this cycle what is happening between them is broken, her state of depression and isolation is not going to improve. So gradually she stopped opposing her parents' views just because it came from them. She felt confident enough to, take what would make sense for her to follow, and would probably tell them very politely that this doesn't make sense to me. Therefore, I'm not going to abide by this. So she improved on her pattern of interaction with them. If you see, in the two examples we saw above, in the first case, the goal of therapy was not to somehow break the pattern of interaction between the husband and the wife, because they had reached a level of acceptance. It had been accepted by them and their life was going on smoothly, if not greatly. But the cycle that needed to be broken there was what was happening between the daughter and the mother, because that was affecting the child a lot. Similarly, in the second case, it made sense to break the cycle between Chitra and her parents so that she can actually feel free to choose what is good for her, even if some of the suggestions came from her parents.